Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news from Hip Hop DX. Dave Chappelle auctioned off 50 Cent. What? Hip Hop DX writes, 50 Cent may have a reputation as one of the most feared men in the rap game, but that hasn't stopped Dave Chappelle from using him as fuel from his comedy ammo. They were at Reggie Jackson's Mr. October Foundation over the weekend, and Chappelle jokingly auctioned off Mr. Cent. Chappelle apparently compared the location, which was a Florida golf club, no, not that one, a different one, to a scene from the Jordan Peele film Get Out, before joking to the largely white crowd that 50 was for sale. I've seen the clip myself. This really happened. Chappelle said, Mr. Jackson has transcended the odds of the black community and came all the way out here to the Get Out resort. Surprise, fellas. The auction begins right now. How much do you want for this big buck? 50 apparently thought it was funny and is seen cracking up in the video. If you want to check it out for yourself, if you Google it, it'll come up. Bob Odenkirk is related to King Charles. Who knew? Bob Odenkirk didn't. He was on PBS's Finding Your Roots. On Finding Your Roots, host Henry Louis Gates helps celebrities learn about their family history. Odenkirk learned that he and King Charles are 11th cousins. I'm pretty sure you and I are 11th cousins. Odenkirk said, that is crazy. Apparently, Bob Odenkirk's father's 5th great-grandfather was born out of wedlock to Maria Catherine Bain and the Duke of Plon. Odenkirk said, I'm an American. I'm not a monarchist. I don't believe in that. You know, I feel it's a little twisted. I understand why society built itself around monarchs and leaders and they passed them down through generations. I understand that goes through every society, every civilization. But I think that we've gotten to a better place with democracy and we should just keep going down that road. Bob, you should just call Prince Harry and hang out with him. Meanwhile, on that same show, Eliza Schlesinger finds out that her great-grandmother Esther had a brother, Lipa. The brother was a textile dealer who was still in Poland when the Nazis showed up in September of 1939. Host Gates confirms that Schlesinger's family didn't discuss Lipa's story and asked her to relate Esther's feelings towards her brother. Eliza said, I can't begin to imagine this. I don't think I want to. He then shows her some pictures from the ghetto and asks her how seeing those images and learning that personal connection made her feel. Eliza said, when you look at pictures from history, atrocities committed against your own people in particular, there's always that pull. But I never thought I had any actual connection because I didn't know any of that history. All right, Johnny Mac, this is a lot of fun. How are you going to pull this one out? Let me turn things over to David Letterman.
Taylor Swift, I don't think in the history of show business, in the history of popular culture, we've ever witnessed anything like this. Tremendous. She fills stadiums around the world and puts on a 3-hour show. Now, we live in a world now where all we hear is nonsense and ugliness. And the nonsense can't be more nonsensical. And the ugliness, God hopes it can't get any uglier. But that's all we hear. That's all we hear. So now here's Taylor Swift, who is a glowing bright light of goodness in the world. And she starts dating Kelsey Grammer. And people...
No, that's not true.
What?
Kelsey Grammer?
Yes.
Yeah. An interesting pairing.
And people go crazy. And the Kelsey Grammer people say, oh, no. Don't bother us. We're all caught up in football. We don't want Taylor in football. And the Taylor Swift people, the Swifties, are saying, oh, we don't want a footballer in here with Kelsey Grammer. And I'm saying...
Kelce.
Huh?
Travis Kelce.
Right. Travis Kelce. And I say to both camps, this is such a lovely thing. Shut up. It's good for the footballers. Yeah. It's good for Taylor Swift. And it's something positive and happy for the world. And also politically, Taylor Swift is a huge force. And I think just wants to see people do the right thing. So God bless Taylor Swift and Kelsey Grammer. That's all I had.
Kelsey Grammer.
The Danes are annoyed with Chris Rock. From Games Radar, your home for comedy news, comedian Chris Rock has signed on to direct the English-language remake of Another Round. Fans of the Danish original are not happy about it. The original centers on 4 teachers as they try to maintain a constant level of intoxication throughout the working week, having stumbled on a theory that it makes people more creative and successful. One Danish fan tweeted, American producers need to learn to keep their hands to themselves. Another said, create original stories. I'm very happy for Dusty Slay. It seems that people watched that Netflix special, and they're now on Team Johnny Mac going, yeah, Dusty Slay is really funny. Been telling you that for a while now. Dusty's special is still the only thing on the best of 2024 list. That's it. The entire list is Dusty Slay. It's almost February. Dusty told ALAsInAlabama.com, it's an honor to even be on Netflix. But to be on there and to know that people are actually watching it, it's like getting recognized by the industry, but also by people in general, and that's great. Dusty, described as a long-hair, trucker hat sporting Opaliga native, says, the mayor reached out and wants to meet me. I got to tell you, to get a little hometown recognition feels good. They have some bio here. Since going full-time as a stand-up in 2010, leaving his job at a pesticide company, sometimes Dusty would drive 250 miles to play a gig for $250. On the road, he'd often eat tuna straight from the can. He stayed at dodgy motels where he feared for his life. That's not funny, John. Off the road, he lived in a Nashville attic apartment with no insulation, freezing during the winter, and in the summer, sweating like hell. I didn't know Dusty stayed in the upstairs room in my house. No, he doesn't actually live in my house. He's talking about the Nashville apartment, but you knew that already. There were plenty of unglamorous things. You're working for years for basically no money, just hoping this turns into something one day. Yeah, I'm just going to remind Dusty I'm podcasting from the basement. I feel ya. I don't think my wife and kids would enjoy it if I were still making that kind of money, but for me at the time, I was like, this is what I want to be doing. I'm traveling in the country with my car with 317,000 miles when I traded it in, zipping all over and leaking oil, and I loved it. Dusty, where did you watch your specials premiere? He said, I was supposed to go to New York, but we had the snowstorm of the century in Nashville, and my flight got canceled, so I went home. My neighbor was having a watch party with some of the other neighbors. I took my kids and my wife. We all went to the neighbor's house, and they put the special on. It felt like I was watching a comedian that I'm just very familiar with, and it's fun. Gilda's Laugh Fest is back, baby. March 6th to the 10th in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This year's lineup, Tammy Pascatelli, Josh Johnson, Piff the Magic Dragon, and Dimitri Martin. That's pretty good. Tom Papa, also pretty good, will be headlining the Gilda's Club Annual Red Door Gala, March 14th. Other events, the Clean Comedy Showcase, Laugh Fest Trivia Night of Stars, and The Dirty Show. Gilda's Club is a nonprofit that provides free emotional health care to children, adults, families, and friends on any kind of cancer journey or those grieving the death of someone in their life due to any cause. The club is named after the iconic comedian and Detroit native Gilda Radner. Johnny Mac has just realized he wanted to take the break there, but you have to take the break with something upbeat. So let me pull up a story. Kate McKinnon is going to be in a Super Bowl commercial. It's for a famous mayonnaise company that can afford to buy advertising. She co-stars with a cat known as Mayo Cat. The ad is to make viewers aware of food waste and how the company's famous mayonnaise can help reduce the food waste. Kate even spoke to Variety about this and said, I grew up in a house that was very environmentally minded and we never threw anything out, something that's very dear to my heart. The suit from the Mayo Company says, viewers want to be entertained. This is sort of a moment to entertain them. We take a very serious subject like reducing food waste and communicate it in a comedic way that is still relevant. All right, what happens? Well, in the spot, Kate McKinnon gets kitchen advice from Mayo Cat, who advises her to use meow, get it? To make leftover food taste great. That's terrible. Soon, and this is where it becomes fun, the cat becomes famous enough to date Pete Davidson. Apparently, Kate checked in with Pete to make sure that joke would be okay, and it is. Meanwhile, on Gossip Corner, Madeline Klein showed her support for Pete Davidson's comedy by showing up at his gig in Philadelphia. Yahoo tells us Klein was photographed leaving with Pete Davidson on Sunday after he performed at Helium. She kept a low profile in a beige winter coat with a matching Tommy Hilfiger baseball cap, while Pete Davidson sported a black hoodie under a brown jacket and a dark green Bloomfield, New Jersey cap. I totally screwed up the order today. I could just edit this stuff, but I like to let you guys know what's going on. Let's see what's happening at Sketchfest. 7:30, Brett Gelman's Inappropriation canceled. I wonder why. Again, I'm speculating here. I have Googled Brett Gelman, and maybe perhaps some of his opinions on current events are scaring people. Maybe, maybe not. Pure speculation there. He could just have a cold. I don't actually know. Anyway, canceled. Don't head to that. So your other choices at 7:30 are Killing My Lobster with Cam Wiley. Killing My Lobster has been SF's premier sketch group comedy since 1997. Or at 7:30, we could hit Comedy Rodeo with Hayden Crystal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 comedians or so there. And at 8 o'clock, the Red Room Orchestra plays the music of Twin Peaks. That's it. Let's go to Killing My Lobster. We can't even hit the Anchor Brewery because it closed. Anchor was such a good beer. And hypothetically, we did Little Italy last night. I guess we'll do Little Italy again. Mike from Cleveland chimed in. He said, you probably heard this already, but Joe Gatto is from Impractical Jokers. Well, Mike in Cleveland, tell Joe Gatto to put that on his Wikipedia. So if you ask 1,000 people who Joe Gatto is, 999 are going to go, I have no idea. But Mike in Cleveland's going to go, that's the dude from Impractical Jokers. Well done, Mike. The LA Times enjoyed Kate Berlant's show. They wrote, a would-be method actor, Kate enters into a hall of mirrors in which overwrought versions of her life are conjured in funhouse style. She remakes her biography as though it were a tale by Charles Dickens, full of villainous ogres and scrapes with melodramatic disasters. Berlant, a gifted physical comic who whipsaws between over-the-top grandeur and abject awkwardness, introduces her situations with a wink, and even the winks are delivered in quotation marks. Somebody had the thesaurus out or ran this through a website, because there's some pretty $5 words in this description here. Anyway, it seems like a good show. A lot of people are talking about that. Glenn Close says that if Christopher Reeve were still around, Robin Williams would still be alive. I saw that headline in People and I was like, yeah? Glenn explained, their friendship, their connection is the stuff of legend. It not only endured, but became a life-giving force sustaining them both. On Friday evenings, Chris would literally swoop in, piloting his own plane, scoop Robin up, and away they would fly for the weekend. On Sunday, late afternoon, Chris would swoop back in and deliver Robin back. I have to say, a little worse for wear. They were living the kind of fast and crazy life that our business can hand to you if you become a wildly famous phenomenon, particularly overnight. The Hollywood Reporter has 50 reasons we love Hollywood. One of them is your comedy headliner is our open mic. They write, in between tours, the biggest names in comedy drop to their home clubs in LA to work out material and stay sharp. Adam Sandler, John Mulaney, Nick Kroll, Sarah Silverman, and Judd Apatow regularly hit Largo, while Mark Maron and Margaret Cho are Comedy Store regulars. Sebastian Maniscalco and Kumail Nanjiani perform at the Hollywood Improv. Dane Cook and Craig Robinson do sets at the Laugh Factory. And Rami Youssef and Tig Notaro have had recent shows at Dynasty Typewriter. That's nice. I think we could say the same thing about New York City, but whatever. Reba McEntire, good news from my mom, is getting a new sitcom, or at least a pilot anyway. In as yet untitled multicam project, Reba inherits her father's restaurant and is less than thrilled to discover that she's a new business partner and the half-sister that she never knew she had. What's weird to me is this is for NBC. Doesn't that sound like a CBS sitcom? My mom doesn't know how to switch from Channel 2 to Channel 4. She's never going to see this thing. Put this on CBS where it belongs. And that's your comedy news for today. If you enjoy the program, tell a friend about it. They might like it too. You could support the show at buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. I didn't forget about that Sandler thing. I got to actually write it. I'm hoping to do it Saturday. We'll see how my week goes. And if you're hip to Podcasting 2.0, you can use the Fountain app. Throw some sats my way. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, sort of explain in the show notes. See you tomorrow.